Please, Mishal, the word is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I believe 15-20 minutes? Because I'm going to try to cram a hell of a lot in 15-20 minutes. It's really, really hard. I'm sorry to bore you on this, but as an ex-professor, I can talk for hours, and I'm pretty sure most of you would not want that, especially around lunchtime. One of the things that we have in this part of the world, and unfortunately we excel at, is a way to hide things. We don't like saying things out loud. Sorry. Any closer and I'll be kissing it. My wife might be angry with me. Seriously. Okay. We do have a tendency to want to cover certain things. So I'm going to try to do something which normally, under normal circumstances, would not be considered controversial or outright. But in this part of the world, we tend to want to stick within a certain framework. There's a beautiful saying in the Arab world. It's something that we are taught as children. Sometimes those words are used, and sometimes it's suggested to us. And I'll say it in Arabic first. For those who are Arabic speaking, I'll understand this one immediately. Il-golgolak ya yuba, wish-shor-shorak ya yuba, which translates to, whatever you say, Father, we listen to. In our concepts of leadership, we have this this outlook towards having a cult of personality. We like one person, a father figure, to lead things. And we don't like to challenge him. This is, I think, a major issue that we will encounter, and every company here encounters, because the idea is to sit and go towards a conformity rather than seeing and understanding the overall picture. And the concept of having a devil's advocate is considered a no-no. You do not encourage devil's advocate. You encourage conformity towards an idea. And this affects our culture. And culture I don't necessarily mean within Arabian culture. No, Arab culture. I don't necessarily mean. I mean a culture that you can't find within here. You will even find international companies who start tending towards that because they're in this part of the world. And we have an Arabic saying that says, in Arabic it's which means you are a person who stays in a tribe for 40 days becomes part of them or leaves them. You conform to what they want or you leave. And again, ours is to say, we try to put you into this little box, and if you start to push at the edges of this box, you find a lot of resistance. Now, the resistance might be overt, clearly, and it might be covert. Again, this is a generalization. I'm not saying that every company does this. I'm not saying all organizations do it. But overall, you will find that within... Sorry, every time I move my head, the voice goes away. You will find that this is something that is part and parcel of what we push towards. In a corporate mindset, which is where we push towards, you will find that the person who comes out and says something is bad or something is wrong, rather than saying, well done, thank you, tell me more, because I want to hear a second opinion, will be told, shut up, sit down, and don't talk. I'll give you a live example of that. It's something I experienced. I'm not a genius. But in 2006 and 2007, it was very clear there was going to be, especially here in the UAE, there was going to be a bursting of the bubble of property. And I was unfortunate to say, there's something wrong here, there's something wrong here. Economically speaking, there's something wrong here. And every time, actually, in the press, I actually had, when I wrote an article, the next article was written by somebody who said that because he is a patriot, he would not accept the idea that the bubble is going to burst. And I'm thinking, excuse me, I'm talking pure economics, and you're talking about patriotism? Because that's the mindset. We think this is the direction things are going to go, and we don't want you to tell us otherwise. So how do you create leadership within that? Because the best example I have to understand how to move forward, whether it's in a normal circumstance or even in a hyper changing environment. It's a story I heard when I was in university. The story goes something along those lines. This is supposedly in China. Like, you can put it whatever you want to put it. A man was walking with his son, and the son saw what looked like a very powerful man sitting, and a lot of big, powerful men around him. So the son turns to the father and says, "Who's that man?" The father says, "That's the emperor of China." So naturally the boy thinks, "Ooh, therefore he must be the smartest man in China." The father goes, No, it's that man to his right." "Oh, okay, therefore he must be the bravest man in China." He goes, No, this man is his left. So therefore he must be X, Y, and Z, and all the attributes that we want to attribute to a person of superiority. And the father says, "No, it's that man and that man and that." Finally the child gets sick and tired of this and goes, "Well, then why is he the emperor of China?" And the answer was, because he's the hub that allows all of those attributes to function. That is the main point that a leader should have. To be able to understand, my weaknesses do not mean that I have to be afraid. My weaknesses my weaknesses are my weaknesses. But I need to find people who have the ability to compensate for my weaknesses and give them the ability and the strength to come and move and challenge and do things. And those who are willing to do that, you will find that their organizations are the organizations that attract the people who will move them forward. And those organizations that say, "You know what, I don't want you to challenge me. I want yes men," or women in some cases. Those are the ones who are not going to move forward because they can't. Because every time a person comes in, he or she is going to be told, "Sit in the chair over there and shut up." How long will it take? No matter how well they pay you, how long will it take before you get bored out of that job?